Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a super important topic that affects anyone who's involved in education, whether you're a teacher, a student, or just someone who loves learning. Ever heard of fair use? Well, if you've ever found yourself wondering how you can use other people's creative work in your projects or lessons without getting in trouble, this video is for you. So, grab your favorite beverage and let's chat about what fair use really means and how it can help you in an educational setting. So, first things first, what exactly is fair use? In simple terms, fair use is a legal concept that allows you to use copyrighted material without having to ask for permission in certain situations. It's like a safety net for educators, allowing them to use excerpts, quotes, images, or other pieces of work as long as it's for a good purpose. Think teaching, scholarship, or research. Now, this isn't just a free-for-all. There are some guidelines to follow. It all comes down to a part of the U.S. copyright law, specifically Section 107 of the Copyright Act. This section lays out the framework for fair use and emphasizes why it's so crucial for educators and students alike. All right, let's break it down further. There are four main factors that determine whether or not a use qualifies as fair use. Buckle up, because we're going to cover them all. 1. Purpose and character of use. First up is the purpose of your use. If you're using the material for educational purposes, you're off to a good start. Plus, if your use is transformative, meaning you're adding new meaning, message, or expression to the original work, that's even better. Basically, if you're making it your own in a way that informs or educates, you're on the right track. 2. Nature of the copyrighted work. There's the nature of the copyrighted work. If you're using something that's published, like a book or an article, you're likely in a better position than if you're using unpublished work. But here's the kicker. Facts and data have more leeway than creative expressions, like music or art. So ask yourself, is this a fact I'm using or a creative piece? 3. Amount and substantiality of the portion used. Now let's talk about how much of the work you're actually using. The general rule here is the less you use, the better. If you can stick to a small excerpt or a quote that gets your point across, that's ideal. But also consider if it's a significant part of the work. Using the heart of a composition might not score as many fair use points. 4. Effect of the use on the market. Finally, we have the effect on the market for the original work. This one's essential. If your use of the material could result in lost sales for the copyright holder, that could weigh against a fair use claim. However, if you can show there are licensing options out there, like the Copyright Clearance Center, that can also influence the decision. It's all about understanding how your actions might affect the creator. Now, let's dig a little deeper into classroom use, because that's where things can get extra interesting. If you're photocopying materials for your students, there are some guidelines to follow. Generally, the law gives educators a bit of a break under Section 110. This allows you to perform or display copyrighted works in a classroom setting without needing permission. Yay! Just remember, this doesn't apply to copying materials. You still need to think about fair use in those cases. And if you're in a distance learning situation, like we've seen a lot recently, the TEACH Act kicks in. This provides some protections for using material in online classes, but comes with specific requirements, so definitely give that a look if you're teaching virtually. Here are some best practices to wrap things up. When using copyrighted material, always include copyright notices, limit access to just your students, and use only what's necessary for the teaching point. This way, you'll strengthen your fair use argument. Plus, make sure you're using resources that align with fair use principles and research extensively. So there you have it. Fair use can seem a bit complicated, but understanding the basics can really empower you as an educator or a student. Remember, it exists to support education and creativity. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and drop your questions or thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep learning and sharing.